Hi, fellow traders. Welcome to the first trading day of 2021. I know I promised you guys a new video format for this year. It is coming. I'm about a week behind getting my home office together, but it will be done. Yeah, it may even be finished this week. So I got some new equipment, some new stuff to try to make these videos the best that I could make them. Make my classes a lot better. I'd feel more like a teacher in the classroom. So all of that's coming. I just have to put everything together now. It's all laying in the middle of the room in a pile. So I got the last pieces today. I'm going to be working on that in my spare time this week. So, everybody was so excited. Everybody was saying, hey, I can't wait to 2021. I can't wait to get 2020 behind us. This was a tough year and all that. But guys, think about it. The same problems that we had when we went to bed on December 31st, 2020, we had when we woke up January 1st, 2021. We might have even had more issues with hangovers and stuff. But the same problems exist with our trading. The issues that we dealt with in 2020 are still going to be here. They don't magically disappear. Now we come in and we try to come in with a better attitude, that this is a new beginning, this is a rejuvenation, and that's great. That's exactly what we need to have. But we also need to remember the same issues have to be dealt with. And so for my 2021, it's still loading. I'm hoping by February 1st, we would have flushed all of the shit that's in the toilet right now. Everything has been cleaned up, and we're on the track to really making this year a lot different than we had in 2020. So I'm behind. I know 2021 is here, but it's still loading for me. So just think about it. And if there's some things that you're trying to forget about and you don't want to deal with in 2021, it's going to come back and haunt you. So, and we'll see in my trading today, already the first day, one of those demons jumped back up and bit me. But what I'm able to do is I'm able to deal with it and understand when it happens and still come out on top. And that's the key to being a successful trader. That's the key to being consistent and consistently putting money in your pocket. This year, we are focusing on our mind game, the mental game that we've got to have to be successful traders. Trading, if you hadn't figured it out by now, trading is about 90, it may even be 95% mental. The only physical skill you need to be able to do is point and click a mouse. That's it. Everything else is between your two ears. And if we don't have that muscle right, if we don't have the right muscle memory there, things aren't going to end well for us. So that's going to be our focus going forward and throughout this whole year. Because you're going to have to learn how to deal with these issues when they come up, especially during your trading. And you don't want them to derail you and cause you to have losing days. You want to have days like I had when things may not be perfect and you may not have traded exactly the way you wanted to, but you still end up making money and you're ready to go the next day. Now that's kind of what it's all about. All right, so if you guys remember yesterday in the session, if you were there or if you watched the replay of it, I was talking about how I expected the market to give us a pullback, a really deep pullback, some type of correction within the first, the first quarter. I felt that there was going to be a lot of negative stuff that hits. The coronavirus is already spiraling out of control. We haven't even gotten the Christmas numbers on top of that yet. And so things are going to get a little worse before they get better. And I think once the earnings start hitting and you have companies that are stressed right now, the unemployment numbers I think are going to go up because the temporary jobs during the holidays, these guys are going to be back out drawing unemployment, looking for employment. So we're going to go through, I think, a bad time, but it's not going to be anywhere near what we experienced last year, in March, the end of February, early March. It's just going to be a healthy pullback that we need to help us sustain this bull market. I think the bull market's going to run all the way through 2021. I honestly believe that. But I can't tell you exactly when we're going to pull back. Is today the beginning of it? Honestly, I don't think so, but it could be. But I'm thinking it's going to wait until we get some earnings and some disappointing news and earnings and all of that. I think that's going to spark some insanity here. But today, starting out 2021 with a big red day in the market, in the S&P 500, and it didn't give us any good value. We did get a couple good moves today if you were on the right side of those, but they weren't clean for me. And I like to get clean moves, and if it's not clean, I won't take it. And that's what saves me. Do I miss big trades sometimes? Yeah. Because about 35% of the time, the rules just don't matter. It's just going to trade anyway. But I'm not trading to catch that 35% of the time. I'm trading to catch the 65, 70% when it's right. And if I do that, at the end of the month, I'm going to have money in my pocket. And that's all that matters to me at this point. But we had a pretty rough day. But you can see we lost the 5-day, we lost the 10-day, but the 20-day held. We wicked out below the 20-day and caught some support here. So it's going to be interesting to see where this goes tomorrow. Everything is still trending up. We're still in a bull market. We're still in an uptrend. And, this just may be a little pullback. Not a correction yet, but a pullback. We'll see if we continue to sell off. A deep correction will come. We would pull all the way back to like the 325, 320 level, somewhere in there. But I don't think we're going to see that just yet. I know we've got some issues to deal with this week on the political side, Tuesday and Wednesday and maybe beyond, that might affect the market a little bit. But honestly, I think the market is over that. It's just nonsense that they're over. So, but we still just have to keep an eye out for it. But you can see what happened today. We gapped up last night. And if we had gapped down last night, I would not have sent out the swing trade plans that I had. But because the market was up, that's why I waited till after 8 o'clock. I sent them to you guys. But then this morning, I told you, no dice. When the market opened and we started selling, you do not want to trade long. The very first lesson in the swing trading class talks about market cycles. And if we're not in the right cycle and we're not moving in the right direction, we don't trade. It doesn't make sense. Our strategies are technical, and so it's based on the market direction. Now, my earning strategy is fundamental. I try to pair it with technical, but it's basically fundamental. And that's why I said yesterday that my earning swing trades are not going to be traded in the same account that we're trading the typical technical setups, like the 52-week high setup, the 20 EMA cross or the oversold. Those are totally separate. That's what we're focusing on in my main swing account. But when I say, it's up to you whether you follow my or heed my warning or not. But you could see this: the market just sold off big time, and all of these stocks pretty much got wrecked. So that's why I said just stay away from it. Wait till the market gets back. I only take 3 to 7 swing trades a month. You can make 20 grand easy on 3 to 7 swing trades. It doesn't matter. I took 5 in December and made 20 grand. So, and you guys were here for every last one of them. So just be patient. Let the market dictate. All right, so this morning, I had trouble finding value today. Even when I went short and the market was selling off on MRNA, it got some good news and it started pushing up. But I just could not catch this. And this is where a lot of my PTSD came back. This is one of the stocks I have had issues with in the past. And when I started trading it, the past came back. It came back on this trade here because had this trade worked out, I never would have had an issue. But what happened, I got in on the break, right according to plan, broke the 5-minute low. I got in. First target was red to green here. This was a nice move, initial move. It started to sell. I was getting down to my 103.50 target, and then it ripped back up. I'm going to take it off. It had ripped up and was almost at break even. When I took it off, I actually got positive slippage back to the downside on this. But I got out, and then everything came back to me that I dealt with on MRNA last year, where we could be in a really good move, and then all of a sudden it rips against me and stops me out at my max loss. I could be up a point and a half on it, and I'm looking for 2 points, and it rips back against me and stops me out. I had all of that in my head when I started trading it again. I waited for it. It recovered. We got back over the pre-market high. Once we claimed it, I took the trade to the long side, and I took myself out. Technically, this trade was still in play. Everything about this was still in play. But that PTSD that came back from last year, that baggage I brought into 2021, showed up the very first day and caused me to take this trade off. And it made the move I was looking for. So I was okay. I waited, and I did it again. It was just crazy. And so I just decided that I'm done with MRNA. I'm just going to leave it alone. If I can't, leave that baggage out, if I have to keep carrying that backpack with me, I'm not going to bother with this. I still made money on this. I didn't lose any money on it. But I could have made a lot more on this ticker if I had just traded like I had some damn sense. So this is what I meant by, there's still demons that we're going to have to deal with. Even though this is a new year, the demons don't magically go away. The challenges won't magically go away. We still have to work through them. All right, so next trade, SQ. This was another frustrating trade. I probably should have gotten it up here and gone ahead, but I was in the other trade. I was in MRNA, so I kind of didn't catch this. So I waited for it to get under the 200, but I made a mistake reading this. I thought this candle had closed below the 200. And so once we made a lower low, I thought we claimed this. And we were well on our way to hitting red to green, which is going to be my first target. Now I was looking to do the same thing here that I did here. But it ripped back up, and I ended up stopping out because it came back so hard and so fast. I wasn't about to hold on to it. And you can see the thing ran all the way up, then it came all the way back down. This thing just started wicking people out. Now, the first class after we finish the trader's mindset is going to be on the candlestick wicks. How to read these. You know, how I can tell when it's time to bail out on something, you know, based on reading the candlesticks. And the wicks are just as important as the body. And just so stay tuned for that class. But you can see we made this move all the way up. I tend not to trade inside of this. I like to wait until we break out. But this would have been a huge move here on SQ. Pretty huge move. But I waited. We broke. I think this was a pre-market high back here. We broke. We held over it. So I bought. Made a nice move up. Didn't quite make my second target. So it came back and I stopped out. And I didn't like this wick. So I stopped out. And you can see this candle tried to push back, but there was just too much resistance up here. And it pulled all the way back. And I tried to catch this later in the day. Just another base hit. So I was just putting together just small base hits. This was a small loser. This was a little base hit here. This was another little base hit. That's kind of all I was doing. MU. This was the best trade of the day, honestly. You could see 5-minute opening range breakout. This thing happened after the first 15 minutes. Complete move from beginning to end. I got the complete move of this. So this was the best trade of the day. I was extremely happy. This is the one that I took the earnings trade on. All right, the earnings swing. It's a little painful right now. May stop me out tomorrow, but I'm looking for this. There were $80, $85 calls that came in. So the expectation is this thing is going to run up in the earnings. So I'm still going to be looking for that. But that's a story for another day. We'll talk about that Wednesday. But best trade. I'm just hanging on to this because this was the best trade of the day. So my last trade of the day turned out to be another egg. And then once this failed, I quit. Because the volume was light. I really shouldn't have traded this because the volume was pretty light. And whenever you're trading on this lower volume, it doesn't take much to rip a stock against you. You don't have to run into a support level or anything like that. Somebody could just come in and dump shares and take it against you. But you can see, really nice move here. This is the move that we're watching in chat. I missed it because I looked away, but a couple members caught it. We had this already marked and ready to go, but I missed it, so I had to wait. You know, I was patient and I waited to catch the break, but it failed. So it doesn't being patient and waiting for the break doesn't always work, but this time it did it didn't, and I ended up having to stop out. And after that, I shut it down. I was done. Whenever the volume is gone and the volatility and you're not getting the moves, it's time to shut it down and lock in what you got and move on to the next day. And I was pleasantly surprised with what we made today. Pleasantly surprised. I thought I was looking at around a $300 day with these base hits and and the 2 little hits I took. The last one on PTON was $170 loss. Add 170 to this. I'm almost working on an $800 day here. If I hadn't taken this last trade. And so totally surprised. I stayed within myself. I didn't force anything. Even though I had those issues on MRNA, I still pulled $265 out. We're trading small size. And, this is what you can do if you stay controlled. A couple of times I traded 200 shares. Once the market started getting iffy and slowing down. I mean, it doesn't take much to make money in this market. All you have to do is have your process together and execute consistently every day, and you can make it. All right, so not a bad start to 2021. I am revved up and ready to go tomorrow. And let's see if I can reduce these tickets in half and make the same amount of money. Hopefully we'll have some good value tomorrow in my watch list, and we can make it happen. So you guys have a great night, and I will catch you in the morning.